people? Nature Girl 30 here, and yes, this is another Q&A, and I know it's been a while. I either been really tired, sick, have no a lot of things have happened in the last few weeks. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to do a lot of Q&As, and also the questions have kind of been minimal. So I haven't really been doing as many. But either or, let's get started because I know that YouTube has a 15-minute limit. So let's get started on these. I actually do have one that comes from Twitter, and this comes from Sheldon Richardson. What are your favorite jobbers of all time? Ooh, I love Kofi. I really do. Um, I can't really think of a lot of people that I consider jobbers in the Attitude Era. Probably all of the gimmick ones. I guess you can probably say The Godfather was probably one. He was my favorite. But honestly, I like Kofi. I like Kofi as well as Evan Bourne. I mean, there were a few jobbers that I can think of. Those are the only two that I can think of at this moment. But I love Kofi, and it kind of makes me sad that he kind of got the short end of the stick, championship wise. He has a huge amount of potential to actually be maybe a WWE, maybe a world heavyweight champion. But since they fused them all together, I don't know. But that's my jobber right there. Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne. But yeah, great question, man. Let's move on to my YouTube questions, which is pretty much all final limits. He sent me at least 6 sets. I promised him that I would actually get it done, so I am getting it done right now. So let's get started with the first set that he sent me. Um, do you think Justin Bieber needs to needs to go? Well, I'm not gonna really say that. Disappear from the face of the world. He's the reason why Gomez is in rehab secretly because of heartbreak. Um, Justin Bieber, I'm not a fan of his, but I will say that he's being a kid. I don't agree with some of the things he does. I really do think that somebody needs to talk to him. I'm not going to talk about Selena Gomez being in rehab and saying it is his fault because she did make the decisions on her own to copy him. He didn't really put a gun to her head, in my opinion. Um, will 2014 be a downward spiral for Selena Gomez? Yes or no? Um, Only time will tell. I don't know. I can't predict the future. But the fact that she's in rehab is a huge step. I think she's gonna be okay. Why does Taylor Swift dances through? I guess why why does Taylor Swift dances during other artists' performances? Uh, I can't talk today. I'm really just why does Taylor Swift dance during other artists performing their music during a music award show? Um, have you ever seen her dancing? At the VMAs, I think she was like clapping and moving side to side. So what? She doesn't dance. She may not can't dance that well, and you know what? It's fine with me if she dances or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I really only seen her dance maybe one time at the VMAs with Selena Gomez. Thoughts on Katy Perry? I like Katy Perry. I actually think that she's pretty cool. Dark Horse is now one of my favorite songs, probably because of Juicy J, probably because the video looks like something out of Candy Crush, or just maybe the fact that she's just straight up cool. I don't know. I like her. I have no beef with her. I really think that she's a cool chick, and I like her music. I don't think I would buy her album, but but I have a few of her songs on MP3. Um, what did you? I think I answered this, but just in case, I'll just go over it again. What did you think of when Jeff Hardy came out of his match stoned at in March 2011? I didn't know he was stoned. I mean, I don't know, but the thing is, Jeff Hardy has always had problems with drugs and alcohol. So has Matt Hardy. They've always had things that they've been struggling with throughout the years. All we can do is just, I mean, I think it's just a shame, and I think all we can do is just hope for the best and pray for him. That's all I'm thinking about. But it's a shame. Matt Hardy is really a great performer, and it's a shame to actually see him in that state. Thoughts on Jeff Hardy? I mean, Jeff Hardy. I meant Jeff Hardy for the first question. Thoughts on Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy is a high flyer. I definitely had a lot of. Well, I mean, I really did admire the guy. I really did. He was a high risk taker. He didn't care about breaking his bones. He put on unbelievable TLC matches with his brother Matt when they were the Hardy Boys. I love the Hardy Boys, especially Jeff. Jeff was the only true star of that entire team, in my opinion. I don't consider Matt much as a star. He was probably maybe the ground unit, like the older brother ish type. But honestly, it was all about Matt Hardy in my eyes. Thoughts on Matt and his wife, Reby, being arrested for domestic violence? Um, that's sad, man. It really is messed up. I never really knew that Matt had it in him to do that. And honestly, seeing how he got beat up and she got beat up too, but his bruises are just as bad as hers, either or is messed up. It really is. I never really would have thought that Matt Hardy would have him in him to hit a person. I don't know her, but good grief. That's all I have to say. It's just as bad for her to hit him back. They shouldn't be hitting each other, and it's messed up. I never really thought that Matt Hardy would ever get to that point. It just kind of makes me sad as a fan of his. Thoughts on Julianne Hough? Um, she was on Dancing with the Stars. I don't really care much for her because she's the type of person that kind of comes off as a know-it-all, and she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut when she needs to keep it shut sometimes because some of the things she says is offensive. But that's how she is. She's a very open person. And either you can take what she says with a grain of salt or you get offended by it. That's just how she is, I guess. But I don't really care much for her. But she was great on Dancing with the Stars. Um, did you know that Billy Kidman had a heroin addict gimmick in WCW back in the day? If not, what are your thoughts on that gimmick? Wow. I had no idea that he had a heroin addict gimmick. And if that's so, that's sad. That really is sad. They were practically reaching, like, just to get people to see. That's sad. Seriously. But then who am I to talk? The Attitude Era had the worst of the worst with the whole, I don't know, corpse thing when the Triple H crawled in a casket with a supposed dead body. So yeah. And also the fact that Triple H kind of pretended that he was getting blown underneath the table. So yeah. I mean, honestly, WWE has done more extreme stuff, and I guess they were trying to copy WCW by the or that's a bit too much. That's just how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on DDP? I love DDP. DDP had a really great gimmick back in the day. Um, Now I can definitely say that he's definitely a changed man. The fact that he was at days helping Jake the Snake Roberts, I think is phenomenal. You don't see a lot of wrestlers do that. I tip my imaginary hat off to him. And I will say he's a really great wrestler. I do kind of miss him in the ring. I love his charisma. I love his personality. He was great in his heyday, and I hope that there's a day that he will actually come back. And your final question for me, and I didn't forget you now. Your final question for me is: who pissed you off the most in your Q&As? We all know who that person is, and I'm not going to. I mean, it's not the fact that I'm still angry by it. And I know you guys have seen my Q&A. I know you guys have seen me blow up for this particular person. And honestly, I have no ill will towards him at all. I don't agree with half the things he was saying. Maybe he was trying to get a rise out of me. Maybe he was trying to get noticed. But the thing is, when you offend my viewers, you offend me, especially if they're the same color as I am or the same race as I am. That's offensive. I'm sorry. Anybody that literally uses prejudice or racism as a means to get themselves out there, it's just flat out sad. They don't have to go that route. They can use whatever talents, whatever gifts they have to get themselves on YouTube to be popular. They don't have to slam people in order to do it. And yeah, it offended me when you offended my viewers. So I'm not going to give any kind of publicity, even though it really isn't publicity because not a lot of people are watching this Q&A. And if they are, great. But either or, it happened. You know, I blew up because you offended my viewers. It happened. And I choose to move on. I have no ill will towards that person, and I hope that he's doing great. But that's just something I feel that I should move on from. But you pretty much already know who it is. And if you don't, go back and watch one of my Q&As. I think it was number 50. But either or, thank you so much, Final Limits. I have finally got through all your questions. And I thank you so much, Sheldon Richardson, for sending me questions on Twitter. If you guys have any more questions for me, by all means, send it to my YouTube inbox. It still goes in there. And also on my Twitter account at RKH30, hashtag Nature Girl Q&A. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. And before I go, watch NXT tonight. It is Thursday night. It comes on at 8. Watch it tonight on the WWE Network if you guys have the free week already. All right. Bye. Peace out.